So we designed Digital Bootcamp as a network event. Network in the sense we brought together the key stakeholders or provocators of digital banking. At one end, we had the thinkers and provocators. At the other end, we had the practitioners of digital banking. And in the middle, we had people who helped design and enable banking. And so we wanted to create an event that brought all these thinkers and doers onto one platform and to have an interactive session with them. And with what we achieved, I think we have achieved that to a very high measure. The day was divided into 3 parts. The first part was all about thinking about digital. What are the key thoughts about digital? We had none other than Chris Skinner, who's the author of The Digital Bank, talk about the value web. He talked about how the web has moved from a quantitative perspective to a qualitative perspective and now to the value web, where really data is finance, data is the new money. Chris talked about how these changes offers new challenges and opportunities for banking and finance. We then had a very interesting session by Zenon Capron, who came down from China. Zenon talked about how technology companies are the new fintechs of China, of how Alibaba, Baidu, and Tencent are really doing some path-breaking innovation to change finance in China. A key highlight of the first part was that we had 5 startups from Startup Bootcamp Fintech Singapore present to the audience or do pitches about their business model, how they're going to finance, and they gave a great understanding about how banks and startups can collaborate. The second part of the day we spent on really looking at the design and enablement of digital banking. We talked about from a perspective of a design company, IDEO. We talked about from a perspective of Google, which is a big internet company, and also Oracle as to what is the technology needed to make digital possible. We also brought these thoughts into a session which was called the practical response to digital design, where we talked from a banker's perspective and from a technologist's perspective of how to make all this possible. The last session of the day wrapped up things very well. Professor Jonathan Briggs from Hyper Island, Singapore, talked about how banks need to have a very different culture of innovation and how they need to work as network teams in order to be ready for the digital age. This really ties into what we did during the day. We brought together thinkers, doers, and enablers of digital banking on the same platform to discuss digital banking in the future. A big part of the success of the event was the partners we had for this event. First up, Next Bank. Next Bank is a community of Next bankers, people who are driving change in banking through digital. And KPMG, who was a sponsor of the event. And KPMG really brought an angle of how a consulting company can help banks build a digital bank of the future. I think there were 3 big takeaways from Digital Bootcamp. Firstly, digital banking as an opportunity and a challenge. As an opportunity to redesign and rethink banking again from a customer's perspective. And the challenge is to how do we make this redesign and rethinking possible. And the second part is digital is going to be all about collaboration. Collaboration between technology and business, collaboration between big banks and startups. And thirdly, digital is going to be a way of life, and we need to integrate banking into the digital ecosystem. All in all, we had a great day of #Digital Bootcamp. In the audience was a mix of bankers, innovators, and startups. And we had people from Australia, Malaysia, Thailand, and Singapore attend this conference to make the most of it. So it was a great day, and we look forward to the next Digital Bootcamp.